We will give for 5 minutes and then we'll start.
Is the guest connected right now? Both the anchors. Oh, Karthik sir, good afternoon. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
We'll let the student join first and then we'll start the session.
Okay, sir.
Hello, Karthik sir.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Right. Now we are able to hear you. Yeah,
Perfect. Yeah, sorry, I was not able to hear any of you, so now it's fine.
yeah. We'll just start in next 5 minutes. Some students are joining.
Sure, no
Mechanical
problem.
students, mechanical students are in lab, and only one projector is there. So, like we are
Okay.
broadcasting to entire class at once.
All right. Okay. That sounds
Right.
good. It would have been nice
Yeah.
to see them as well, but no problem.
Yeah. And some of them are joining through YouTube link, and like some other students that we have like asked to join. So EC students
Okay.
are also there. Computer students are there.
All right. Okay. Sounds good.
Right. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I can see few of the cameras on. So hello, hello.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. We are host for this event.
Perfect. Thank you. Hi, that's Jagruti, right? Yeah.
No, I'm Sania and he's Aryan.
All right. Okay. Sorry, I see the name of the team, so never mind, please.
Dr. Patter has also joined. He's HOD of Mechanical Department. Patter
Hello,
sir,
sir.
are you there?
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Karthik.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good, sir. Good. How are you?
I am fine, sir.
Monday mornings are not always always the best ones, but yes, going good.
Our director, Dr. E.G. Thakur, sir, also have joined.
Perfect. Hello,
Hello,
sir.
hello. Good afternoon, Karthik sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Nice to be here.
Okay, and thanks to you for giving your time to interact with the students.
It's always a pleasure, sir. Whenever we are discussing with the students, I
Because you
think it's
say, I will share that today I come across one of my alumni who is
okay.
now associate professor at IIT Roorkee.
Okay.
IIT Roorkee. Okay. So why I am telling this, because this is mapping with our GATE interaction. So when he was preparing for GATE, and I also just came from the NIT, and that time I also got qualified for the GATE. So he used to trouble me that time. Sir, क्या करना है? And like this, we used to have many discussion, and then he got
Yes.
good percentage. Then he got the good percentile, and he got selected in IIT Kanpur. Then he did his master's, PhD. Then he has work in the company, and again he is in the academics now. And today I have a
That's
very good discussion with him. So that has changed his path. That's what I want to say.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think whenever we look at some of the backgrounds, it always helps to navigate your career paths and opportunity. You never know where you will be. But yeah, indeed, I think that was
Because I
very interesting.
intentionally asked him question that whether he was interested in academics or by force you came. Then he told that what are the reasons which has brought me into the academics, and today is one of the great researcher, and his guide is in the topmost researcher, having more than 1,95,000 citation,
Oh, wow.
which we
That's,
can never think.
yeah, yeah, definitely, sir.
Anyhow, so Patare sir,
We'll start with the
Abhimanyu sir,
session. Yes, sir.
Karthik.
Right. Anchors?
All right.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are delighted to welcome you to another exciting online session hosted by the Mechanical Department and in association with Student Alumni Relations. I'm your host, Arya Rohmare, and I'm joined by my co-host, Sania Pathan. We have a fantastic session lined up for today.
That's right, Aryan. Before we dive into today's session, let's begin by acknowledging the presence of distinguished guests. Our guest of honor, Mr. Karthik Gule sir, Director A.G. Thakur sir, HOD of Mechanical Department, Dr. P.M. Patare sir, and our Dean Alumni, Professor A.D. Sangle sir, and of course, our students who are eager to learn from the experiences of our esteemed guest.
We have special address from A.G. Thakur sir. He has a few words of encouragement and wisdom to share with you all. And I request sir to welcome our guest.
Hello, Thakur sir. I think so. You can go directly towards Patare sir. Hmm? Anchors.
Okay, so now I request PM Patari sir to address the audience and welcome our guest.
Good afternoon to all. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Good
Yes, sir.
afternoon
Yes,
to
sir.
all.
You're audible.
First of all, I like to welcome Mr. Karthik. Yeah, very within his short period of span, he accepted our invitation, and he is ready for giving a session on the gate. Specifically, students are having a certain confusion in their mind regarding the gate examinations. Students feel that is only for the ME or MTech or for higher education, they are in need of a gate examination. But the gate examination is very helpful from the placement point of view for all the students. It also give the confidence to the student that is they can crack any type of examination in the future, like they can prepare for the MPSC, UPSC, or any type of a government examination as well as the public sector examinations. I hope our student will take a benefit of this, and they will have the good interaction with such a eminent personality. I again like to welcome to Mr. Karthik. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Over to
Thank you, sir.
Jagrati.
Thank you, sir, for such warm welcome. Now I would like to take the privilege to acknowledge Mr. Karthik Gure sir's dedication to be here with us today. He has completed his BTech in Mechanical Engineering from Lahori Vidyapit and his MTech from IIM Mumbai. He also secured GATE All India Rank 3 in the year 2007. Our distinguished guest has been working for L'Oreal for 14 years and 9 months. His journey is an inspiration to all of us, and I am sure we all will gain valuable insights from his presentation. Now it's time to hear from our esteemed guest. Sir, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you, everyone. Let me share my screen and then I can start the session. Let me know when you are able to see the screen. Perfect. So, firstly, thank you once again to Dr. Thakur sir, Dr. Patari sir, and Professor Sangle sir for the opportunity. I think it's, as I mentioned, it's always an honor and coming back to interact with the students. It is always very delightful. So, and also to the anchors, thank you for the introduction. However, I'll take few minutes to introduce myself as well in the session. Of course, we are talking about GATE today, so I'll talk a little bit on the GATE aspects of my approach towards GATEs and the events that had followed GATE. I will also talk a little bit about my career currently and supply chain in general, so that you also have these insights about how the supply chain in a corporate works, or anywhere for that matter. As a supply chain is a very general subject, and everybody has an impact on the supply chain directly or indirectly. So, starting with a bit about myself. So, as it was mentioned, so I am Karthik Gule. I have been with L'Oreal for more than 14 years. I'm currently working as a business owner of manufacturing supply chain at their corporate head office in Paris. A little on my personal background. I was born in small city in Ahmednagar, Pathardi. So I guess most of the students are from this region. So to be able to see, in terms of my primary schools, I switched several of my schools during my primary years. I was always following my father during his all the different postings as he was working in the police services after retiring from Indian Air Force. So I had a lot of switches in my primary schools, and that was also the reason why my father decided for both of us, me and my brother, to go to Senior School Satara. So my most of the secondary and senior secondary schooling happened in Senior School Satara, followed by I did my BTech in agricultural engineering, which is very close to the mechanical ones because we are having the similar subjects that we are talking about, and from MBK Viravi. During this time, yes, GATE was my clear focus during this time, which led to for me to have my master's in post graduation diploma in industrial engineering from IIM Mumbai, which was formerly NITI Mumbai. So when I joined, it was NITI, and now it is known as IIM Mumbai. So I'm going to talk a little bit on GATE, but do not hesitate if you have some questions. You can open the mic. If you have something in the chat, if you put something in chat, anchors or somebody, if you can help me with some questions, do not hesitate. All right.
Sure, so we'll try our best to address the questions.
Sure. Thank you. So
Welcome.
when I was told about talking actually about GATE, as I mentioned, I have been already working close to 15 years and masters of 2 years, and I started my GATE. So it's been quite long time that I did prepare for my GATE, okay, or my engineering days. But the first thing that came to my mind about GATE was these three words. I would definitely say this was the most fun days of my, I would say, academic career, because there was a definite focus in terms of how to go about the examination, and we were dedicated to crack that. So to give a little bit of how it happened. So as I was back from science school, I was actually quite good in the sports, but also in the academic. So the first few years in the engineering, so first year, I was already onto a lot of sports activities. I was participating in football. And in one of the evenings, when I was in second year, we're doing our regular practices of football. And after the day was finished, in the really, I can fondly remember those days, those time actually, when we used to have like a chit chat after our sessions on the ground. It used to be a bit darker, and we were talking about all the third year and the final year people who were actually managed to get some GATE scores, and they were talking about going to IITs and doing different career possibilities, and they were so casually talking about it, and it really fascinated me. We are talking about IITs since our childhood. We are talking about IITs as a premium uh, institute, and we want to go there. So that's when I said, okay, I think it's a great platform to be in the environment where GATE is valued so much. So in second year, I started my preparation, at least understanding what exactly GATE meant, how the focus was there. We started working and studying within the groups. So we had a very good environment in my college about the GATE. So we were almost 20-30 people who were actually doing the GATE and studying for GATE. and we had a good record of having quite good ranks in the institute. So in second year, I decided to do that. I started studying quickly on it. I was quite good in um, all the subjects which are more calculative, mathematics, or where it was really engineering subjects. That I was already very attracted towards those subjects, and I was ranked um, topper in the fourth semester, which was really a difficult part of the engineering course. That's what all our seniors used to say. So it was already giving me at least a confidence that this can be a skill. So I studied in third year. In third year, we were studying in a so we as I said, we were a group of all the students. We were studying almost 30 people. So we had a lot of notes, a lot of subject materials, a good amount of collaborations with the students. Our seniors were able to pitch in some of the questionnaires. So we used to have mock test within. So we never had an external resource or external communication. So all the teachers, all the students and seniors were really working in terms of making that environment great. So in third year, I ranked all India 15th in the gate examination, and it was already very motivating. Could already get into a lot of different options, but then we continued and pursued it for the final year. And in the final year, I was all India ranked third for the gate. So it differently. I was talking to Professor Sangli this morning, and he mentioned about the patterns has changed. But I think what is really important for you to be able to go about gate is that you need to really know that what you want to do about doing after the gate. So gate really opens a lot of doors for you in terms of your understanding. You would be definitely a good in the subject matter that you are studying. So it really forces you to go in the detail of it. You are actually devoting yourself in terms of doing the calculation, understanding, going beyond just the subject itself to really think analytically about a problem. So it really not only it's just the examination that you can crack by studying, but it gives a bigger perspective to your life, your ambitions, and your aspirations that you can have. So even if I'm not really going to use the same mathematical problems that I did during the gate, it really changed my mindset in terms of being more analytical and more calculative in a lot of other aspects. So it's really changing your mindset, how you're approaching this the exam. So I have a lot of friends who did get together, and I can tell you everybody is doing great in their own career paths. Okay, whether it was IIT into mechanization. So some of them are in R&D in a lot of reputed companies like John Deere's, and doing a lot of great I would say contribution to the company, or whether it is food processing or all the companies like food product companies, they are really doing their best in their own career paths. So it's not going to define clearly, okay, that's one path that you are going to have. It's not necessarily just talking about MTech or as Thakur sir was mentioning, that okay, gate gives you an opportunity to go to IITs and do different opportunities, but there are people who after doing gates have done civil services. I have friends who are have cracked UPSCs after doing their gates and doing their masters. And as really the key point of gate is during that phase when you are actually studying, you are focusing and doing that, cracking the exam is going to give you confidence to crack anything, whether it is an UPSC or going into higher studies with a very technical understanding, with a very global understanding of being, you can do multiple management opportunities, etc. But then the way you are going to look at your opportunities, you are not going to consider yourself less than anybody in this aspect. So for me, Gate, I chose Gate because I had an environment of able to really focus the studies and be able to get coached or had a guidance in the school. So I'm sure since there is a focus, all the teacher that mentioned about Gate, how what is it's important and how you are able to do it. Now we are talking about a different pattern that you mentioned about Gate, having the aptitude test. And for me, I think you are going to prepare for the Gate your subject matters, but it's important to also have those preparations in the aptitude aspect. And this aptitude I did not do during my Gate time, but I did it for several other examinations. And definitely it's a focus, or it's a mindset that is evaluated during this preparation. So I don't know if you have specific attention points, but the only way I would say you can really excel in both app test or subject matter is, first thing, you know that you are actually having fun during this preparation. If you are just doing it because somebody else is doing it, I think it's not going to be helpful for you. You need to be focused that you are going to crack this. Don't think about what's going to happen if I don't get the right opportunities after gate or whatever. You focus on the exam, you dedicate yourself, you are able to crack it, and then you will realize that anywhere you go after this, you will be able to get that focus and dedication towards that goal. Okay, so for me, it's not only about get this message. Whatever you choose to do, whether it is going for MBA, whether it is gate or UPSCs or other opportunities, you need to have that focus and dedication, but equally enjoying that. Because if it is forced, you're not going to be really focused and dedicated at the same time. And as I mentioned, for me, those were the best days when I was really going hours of studying. We were studying continuously with our groups and friends, whether it is all the periods that we were able to manage some slots, but dedicatedly going in the evening, going sitting in the libraries until the library was closed, then followed by some of the specific rooms were opened up during the night to be able to study, and we used to study until midnights and later to be able to do that, because we were really enjoying, we were really committed in understanding and focusing on the results that we could achieve. So for me, I think that would be my message to say: do it because you're enjoying it. Keep a focus. Be dedicated. The result is going to follow you. Okay, so it's not a rocket science to put yourself. Now you do have a lot of I would say alternative opportunities. You have a lot of visibilities, you have a lot of study material because of the internet world that we are. 15 17 years back it was not the case, so we had less distractions, so you will have a bigger challenge to bring that focus and dedication in your studies. But once you do that, it's never turning back. Okay. I wanted to also spend few time just to give you one of the options of what can happen after the gate. And so before I jump into my career aspects, I would like to see if you have some specific question on gate, or we can definitely talk about your own problems that you can, if you want to talk about it, and if you have some questions. If not, okay. So as I mentioned, I did my gate. I was able uh, to get All India third. I did apply for IIT Kharagpur, IIT Bombay in different subjects. Finally, I also applied to NITI. At that time, it was welcoming the gate score, and it was a master's in industrial engineering, which was also operations and supply chain focused. So I chose to do that, even if there was no agriculture engineering previously from high school who managed to get through NITI. But I think it was less chosen path that I managed to choose and get it. So I did had opportunities from IIT Bombay for operational research or mechanical engineering in IIT Kharagpur, but I chose NITI. I think it was during this time when I was exploring different options, I came across NITI as being more management oriented, supply chain focused, and I thought it could be interesting in the career to path. So I did my masters after the gate from NITI in industrial engineering. I completed my PGDI in from NITI in 2009. I joined L'Oreal from a campus interview at their Pune facility. So L'Oreal, I don't know how many of you know L'Oreal globally or the products of L'Oreal. So it's a big cosmetics company which is into all your fast-moving consumer goods for hair care, skin care products, but also luxury products like perfumes and so on. So they have a facility in Pune where they manufacture for Indian market, and so I had the opportunity to join there. I joined facility there, and it was first time for me to be in the factory. Actually, as we say, dirty your hands. So you are actually working in the factory, very operational jobs. I started as a procurement planner there in the facility. I managed to get additional responsibilities before moving out of the country to do an SAP deployment. You might have heard about SAP. It's an ERP solution to manage all the different processes for the company. So I was part of this deployment team, and so I moved to France for a short period, and thereafter to China to take the role of to deploy this SAP in two of our factories in Shanghai. Once I finished that project, I came back and I was heading the manufacturing supply chain. So manufacturing supply chain is all the supply chain aspects within the L'Oreal facilities. So interactions with suppliers, managing the capacities of the factories and so on. So I was heading this function for a few years. And then I had an opportunity to go back to China to lead the manufacturing supply chain for the APAC zone. So we had several factories in different regions, like in Japan, Indonesia, India, and China. So I was coordinating the activities of those factories. And in 2018, I was working very closely in my previous role with the headquarters based out of Paris. So for all the global processes and the standards, I was able to move. So the aim was to really tell about one of the aspects of supply chain where it's activities of manufacturing facilities. So how do we manufacture? What kind of procurement we need? How do you do the capacity management, and so on and so on. So this is one of the career paths of lot of other opportunities that you can see in supply chain. And having a master's will really change your mindset and will orient you to a corporate world or any other opportunities. Okay, giving a little bit also on the supply chain. So we don't study so much during our studies, the technical courses, unless you actually have some subjects. But supply chain, as I was mentioning earlier, is touched by you. You are part of the supply chain that is going to drive the business processes behind. So it's a classic supply chain for any company, any product that you have. So you basically have your consumers, the as which we all are. When we go to any retail shop or any online service that we need, are are the service providers for us, which in turn are getting the goods. If it is a physical product, it's coming from a distributor center, which in turn is coming from a warehouse somewhere on the globe, will be manufactured someplace. And for all this manufacturing, you are taking a lot of requirements. You can have the bottles and caps and raw materials for all those product that you take it. And so you have the supplier base. So you have a classic supply chain. You can have, depending on how complex your products and your company are, this supply chain can be very local or can be very global, like in case of L'Oreal, where we are manufacturing in one factory and we are distributing to the consumer worldwide. For example, on our perfume bottles, which is the case, while there is a different supply chain models for each different kind. And in this supply chain, you have what is the first flow that we call as a information. When somebody buys a product, how this information goes back to the supplier to be able to replenish those needs. Then, of course, there is a physical flow, making sure the product is available on the shelf, and this product has to be moved from one place to another, and it's a physical flow. So you're going from supplier to manufacturer, you're producing this product, going to the warehouses where it is stored, distributed, made available to the retailers and consumer. And of course, there is a financial flow across. So this is just to give an illustration of what a supply chain could look like. But in entire this end-to-end, what we call as so value chain, because each step we add some value in the process. And for me, during these different stages, you actually come across so many opportunities that you have in the supply chain. You can imagine any product that is impacted by supply chain. The COVID crisis was one of the eye openers of a lot of people to be able to have the emphasis on the supply chain. But also the technology is evolving, so supply chain brings a lot of new aspects of doing the similar things. So in terms of supply chain, you can have, this was the value chain that we talked about, but you have so many opportunities across, and each of them can actually be a career path for yourself. So whether it is talking about supply or demand management, how many products are going to be needed in the, let's say, I don't know, DMart store, how many products they are going to ask for month on month for the future several months. You are doing a forecasting model for this. How do I supply those quantities to, let's say, this DMart store from my warehouse, which is in turn dependent on so many warehouse behind, is another called the supply management. So you have these as one of the processes which drive the supply chain. But also planning sales and operations means I need to do my demand and supply balancing. I do have my capacities in the factories. It's not always that I have abundant of, because it's also a question of finding the right price for your product. If you would have enough capacities, then you can do the supply whenever you need. But you will have a heavy cost to pay. So there is always a balance between demand, supply, right capacity at a right price, so that we are able to give the product to our right customer at the right time. Okay. Then there are functions like production planning. You're doing a simulation in the factory. I have this resource. How do I plan those resources? How which product needs to be produced so that I can replenish in time for this. So you have the sequencing of all this production activity. But as I said, you also have the capacities and this management. You need a purchasing. Where do I source my raw materials? I have plenty of suppliers who are able to give me the right product, but do I have the right quality? Do I have the right price for those products? But also ensuring that we are socially aware of social sustainability approach. Are we really doing some bad practices in our supply chain, which is impacting our environment and so on? So purchasing, focusing on where do we procure, how do we procure. Then of course there is inventory management. If I produce a lot of product, keep it in the warehouse, it's money. Inventory is money, so you are kind of putting your money without any returns. If you put it in bank, you can get some interest, but if you put it in inventory, unless this inventory moves around, it's not going to generate value for your company. So there is also the aspects of inventory management. Warehousing itself, you have how do you manage the warehouse. There are systems to manage. How do I make sure when I am receiving one order from Amazon, let's say, how my warehousing team are able to pack only the product that is asked and it is delivered on time to my customer. For all this, there is a lot of master data. So there is a lot of master data about the product, about my physical supply chain. I have this warehouse, I have these factories, I have my products. How do I manage those master data? So you have IT systems doing that things. You have customer service. When you are facing um, Gmart or Big Bazaar or big customers like Walmart or any other customers, how do we make sure that we have the right relationship? I have the right information to be able to manufacture. And of course, manufacturing, transport management, supplier management. Supplier, even if it is not yours, is a part of your supply chain. So how do I make sure my supplier is part of my business and so on? And last but not least, all these things are so complex and heavily dependent on mass data. When you are a small organization, you can manage your data bit easily. As soon as you start to grow, your data is huge, and in able to use that data to analyze those data to make the right decision for your supply chain makes it key. And this is a big evolutions coming after recently, after how the data, artificial intelligence, machine learnings are coming into picture to be able to make those decisions. COVID was as I mentioned, a big impact on supply chain. When you have a global supply chain, if China does a closure, your product might not reach to the customer in time, based in France, for example. Or if I have a backup of supplier in Italy, which is also getting closed, how do I manage? So those challenges makes supply chain more and more interesting, and the technology itself is evolving. So you are able to find the right solution, keeping definitely your environment, your sustainability approach, your regulatory approach into consideration. Okay, so I wanted to give a bit idea of supply chain. I don't know if it was a bit global, but this is one of the career paths that definitely gave me from Git. I mean, we are talking about lot of mathematical approach in this project. We are talking about statistics, we are talking about problem solving, you are talking about operational research in terms of this, and this definitely gives a base of doing something productive on during your analytics period. So One, of course, it's going to give you a career direction when I talk about GIT, but it is going to change your mindset. It's going to make you more analytical, more able to think differently in a problem solving mode when you're talking about problems which not necessarily are linked to your subject itself. We talk about all the maths. Where do I use my trigonometries or Pythagoras theorems, etc.? They were meant to change your mindset. It's your mindset that needs to be adapted for able to have complexity in life, to be able to do that. So maybe if you are academic, into academics and research, and those can be direct applications, but when you're studying something, it really changes the way you think and the way you approach life, your job careers, and how you are able to look at the society in whole. Okay, so that's more I wanted to talk a little bit on supply chain and gate, and I'm really opening the floor for some questions. I'm keeping the tap of the time that we have allotted. So thank you again, but I'm open for questions that you want to ask.
Thank you so much, sir. To wrap things up, we will have a Q&A session where Karthik sir will answer your questions and provide further insights. So don't hesitate, ask your questions in the chat box and we will do our best to address them.
Yes, do not hesitate if you want to drop some questions. Do you want to ask anything work related, gate related, personal life? I am really happy to share um, with you, answer your questions. If you are in a dilemma of something and you need some an external comment, I will definitely be happy to share that as well.
Hello,
Yes.
sir. I have a question. Means how to manage academics and gate studies.
I think one of the best thing is your GATE curriculum is linked to your academy. So I mean, you don't have to manage. Giving my personal experience, my academics, I did, or in fact, the bunch of people who were actually doing GATE, we did our classes, and I think that was where I start learn about the subject that was not really impacted. So for me, do your classes that are going to give you the knowledge not necessary for your gate but also for your regular academic, and then you plan your timings of your gate studies. So for the subjects that I was not really preparing and not impacted by my gate, or even for the gate subjects, it was really easy for me to focus on the classes and then spend my time on my gate preparation. So it was not really impacting me each other. I did not have to give additional focus on that. So this one is, I would say, one aspect. I'm sure also you will be able to find, understand, you talk to your teachers or within the group what is really impacting, if it is actually impacting, so that you can find a solution that is helping. But definitely kids should be on top of what you are actually doing in terms of your academy. It should not be in terms of the conflicting in terms of studies. Okay.
Thank you,
I don't
sir.
know if that
We
helps to answer the previous question. So for the first question from Parimal, 3 months on your hand. Okay, what I would suggest, I don't know where you are, what kind of base you already have done. Start preparing the subject if you're already there, but then go for mock exams that will help you to really start working in terms of your the kind of questions that you want to prepare for, and so on. So um, we did put a longer time in terms of preparation, but I don't know if it is 3 months in advance. I would say my final months before the examinations, we really had mock papers. It was able to give you an idea of how you are able to cope up in terms of the time management, stress, as well as where your studies are helping. So sometimes it's easy to work in that kind of pressure. So when you have lesser time. So for the last several months, we really had mock exams to be able to get to the rhythm. Okay. What do I mean by inventory management? So when we talk about inventory is basically stocks, physical stocks. So you have stock of your raw materials, your components. Imagine you have a shampoo bottle. For this, you need this plastic bottle. You have a cap, you have a label, and the juice inside needs to be stocked. So when you're in the supply chain, you don't produce when the customer asks. You never go in the shop to be able to say, okay, I want this product, and go. Especially when it is a fast moving consumer goods, there are make to order, like the cars that you go and order, and then the manufacturing can happen. But even with those kind of supply chain, you need to have stocks in the right place at the right time. And if you don't have the good stock at the right moment, let's say I have a shade of, let's say, lipstick, because I can give you cosmetics information. There is a red, a black, and white, and all the shades. If I have hundreds of stock on one lipstick that my customer doesn't want, this stock is my dead money. So all these aspects of inventory management, what is my right product, what should be the right level of stock levels. So should I have 100 lipsticks, or should I have 1,000, or should I put the stocks on my raw materials, so that when I know there is a pickup on one brand or one product, I can quickly manufacture that. So that's all the aspects of inventory management, sizing, making sure you have the right inventory at the right time. So the quality of inventory and so on comes into place of inventory management. Um, so in terms of the advantage, disadvantage for the mechanical engineer uh, to pursue management in career management, no, there is definitely no disadvantage in terms of pursuing your career in management. I mean, there are so many examples of mechanical engineer being the best managers. You don't have to be always on a very technical field when you are going into like R&D and so on. For me, mechanical engineering gives you a very good vision of the subject matters. You're not only studying about parts and machines and stuff, something like that. You have a lot of other areas where you cover a broad perspective of education. Now it's up to you. What is your liking? That do you really enjoy that mechanical moving parts, machines, robotics, or whatever is, and then yes, you can go more in the technical field. Then you can pursue and you can really build on that. But then if you think more as a general, you want to have a global vision, you like to manage people and take those kind of steps, you can. And to be honest, it is not this or that. You will cross in your career path. You can be a mechanical engineer. Let's say when you, taking my example, when I'm working in the plant, I use my mechanical or engineering aspects when I'm talking with the shop floor people, when we are talking about the machineries. When you are not, you are going to have your managerial skills. So no, I would say no advantage or disadvantage. Definitely no disadvantages. Advantages, obviously, I think as an engineer student, you are much well, I would say, in your thought process compared to a lot of non-engineers. So not necessarily mechanical, but any engineering, I wouldn't say that any of these gives you a disadvantage. um, so okay, if you're talk so I think that's I spoke about the inventory management, so hopefully that answers. For your revision strategies, my personal revision strategy was, okay, I used to have my own notes that I am able to read it when it was the last revision in places. So I was very bad in terms of taking my notes. So my notes were only for me. It might be or might not be your case, but because when I write something on my paper, I know exactly on which part of my page I have written something, and I am able to recollect. So we kind of have a visual memory. So for me, if you have that notes for yourself, I think revising those notes will be very important to be able to take that. You know, by doing that revisions, what are your stronger aspects where you are able to actually look at it versus where you had challenges, and you can focus on making a different way of memorizing certain formulas or something which might be tricky at times. So you can have a different strategy on that. But my focus was using your own notes, where it helps you to be able to quickly relate, or even for that matter, your subject books where you are doing it regularly. I think that helps. So revisions, I think you will be going through different subjects regular basis. You can definitely rely on the mock exams at the end of the period, and do take some break for yourself when you are doing that last moment strategy. So you need to be able to take yourself out of that pressure or that studies, so that you should be able to find something, your me time with yourself, or some activity. If you're doing sports, make sure that you have regular sports in between. But I would say keeping to what you have will be helpful during the last moment strategies. Taking placement just after the graduation and going for post graduation, it is a kind of a dilemma I have to present. Okay, there is no right or wrong in terms of career paths. Okay, after, when I was definitely at your stages, it was always difficult to imagine that I am losing some period of time in terms of my career, whether it is going to add me. Looking back, it doesn't matter. Looking at my friends who managed to take some gaps, which went in a different direction to be able to do that, it didn't matter. Everybody is able to do till the time they believe in themselves. Okay, if taking a placement makes sense for your situation, you can definitely do it. But then don't forget the focus that you want to do. If it is a post graduation, make sure that you are able to dedicate those time. The only problem that you can have, you can take a job where you are not able to really have enough time for you to study, and the job is completely not linked to your profession. So I had a lot of my friends who had several years of job. They did get, and it's not only the management, so they were able to maintain that link to the studies. They prepared for get, and then they left the job to do their masters. So I would say, if that makes sense, do it. But just because you want to not lose something and you don't want to take a break, I would say don't just go for the sake of taking a placement if you really want to do your masters. But if you can actually do both, well and good. But just don't think that you will lose some time if you don't did not do or did not do anything. So taking a some time off for yourself for doing studies, etc. It should never impact you in any terms. So I don't know if that gives you an idea. I have no recommendation to say, okay, you should take a job or you should not take a job. It's really your personal choice when you are working. Your family situation can be different. You have different commitments, but just don't think that I need to be independent immediately and I need to take something in hand. Okay. All right. I know we are out of time. So if you have any other further questions, you can definitely reach out to me later on as well if you like. But thank you very much. It was really a pleasure. And thank you for interesting questions. It shows that
Sir,
you
we have
are
one more
motivated.
question.
Yes, please tell me.
Sir, we have one more question coming from Entrepreneur Development Cell. It says that how to prepare for aptitude and especially subjects like mathematics.
Okay. As I mentioned, I did apt for several other areas, not necessarily for GATE. I was pursuing UPSCs before engineering and so on. So for me, apt, I think, again, the way the apt questions are put up is how you think about them. So I think the practice will really make more sense for you to be able to go the kind of questions that you have to be able to do that apt questions. Uh, I think one of the key for the apt questions, they tend to be a lot of times trickier. So I think you need to be very focused when you read your questions, when you understand, take a pause of doing that question analysis. I think that can help to not really miss on the app. So because the questions are trick, it is by purpose put a trick question. So if you don't read your questions properly, you actually are going to answer differently. And because your mind is always auto-tuned to sometimes if you see a wrong spelling, you are not really going to find it because your mind automatically reads that spelling accordingly. Okay, so apt is like that. If you don't focus on your question, your mind is going to propose something by default, and that might be trick. So for me, I think that's important that you have questions, that you make sure that you correctly read them. I think you will need to do practice in terms of apt, the kind of apt questions you are able to see, do a lot of mocks. That will help. In terms of the English, I mean, it's not a question of short period that you can do, but again, reading them carefully, the questions, I think that might help you to answer some of the language questions versus the math questions. And normally for maths, I think apt is not really challenging your mathematical skills. It's challenging your mindset and ability to be able to think differently. So you are doing engineering and mathematics is part of your curriculum, and those mathematics are really basic. It's not talking about integrations and differentiations and which are the complex rules of mathematics. Apts is really a basic mathematics which you are quite good at. So be confident in yourself about your mathematical skills. Make sure you read your questions properly and then go about it. Any other
Thank you,
questions?
sir,
Yes,
for
sir.
your insightful responses to our questions. Is there any question?
What
So
we are going to do
I
now,
think we are done.
if there are some questions, we will take the feedback. Hello?
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 Yes, I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah. So what we'll do, sir, Sanjay sir over here, what we'll
Yeah,
do,
sir.
we'll take the feedbacks online from the students. And
Sure.
this will let you know through the emails or through Atharva also. I'll let you know.
Sounds good.
Right. So now, should we wind up then?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that's good for me. So really, thank you everyone for the opportunities, for the exchange. With pleasure, and also thanks to Atharva to be able to get in touch to have this session. It helps me to also understand and keep me updated with the student community. So thanks once again. Thanks all the teachers and professors. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for your
So,
insightful responses. And I request Sanjivani to give the vote.
so yeah, I'm here to give the vote of thanks. All the students, the feedback form is floated on the chat. So just give your feedbacks. So from our institute, Sanjivani College of Engineering, from the management, from our principal, Director A.G. Thakur sir, our HOD, Dr. P.N. Patare sir, P.A. Patare sir, sorry, and myself, I would like to thank you from our entire institute to give such a wonderful session on how to be or how to be a master of gate and the process that we follow in any industry. So thank you, sir. Thank you to give such a wonderful session to all our students. We will be in connect with you always, and soon enough, I know that you'll be coming to India in December, so we will be having one-on-one sessions with you, sir.
Yeah,
So again,
that would
thanking
be.
you, thanking you. Yeah, whose mic is on?
Thank you so much,
Mute
sir,
the
for
mic,
the vote of
please.
thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, sir, from our side.
Thank you once again for the kind words, and definitely I will look forward to connect with you on the future occasions. Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir, for the vote of
Thank you.
thanks.
Have a
I
good day.
request all the students to fill in the feedback form posted in the chat for your attendance and your views about the session and also some suggestions regarding the events we come up with. Thank you to our attendees. Congratulations to Mechanical Department and SARC for another successful event. This concludes our session.
Stay inspired, stay connected.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.